Hey guys, my name is Dominic Flux. I'm a custom jewelry designer, and today we're going to be talking about salt and pepper diamonds. It is a very alternative style of diamond that has a very cool look. So we're going to do a little deep dive on the pros and the cons so that you guys can know if this is the right choice for you. If you are looking to buy an engagement ring, you can always send us a DM. We'll be happy to help. And also, while we're at it, if you do like short form content, we do have our Instagram where we do kind of more like little 1 minute long abbreviated videos, so you can always check that out if that is a preference. So let's jump into it. So the very first thing is, what is a salt and pepper diamond? It is basically a diamond that is heavily included, and what I mean by inclusions are those little imperfections within the diamond. So all those little specks, those little dots, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Because generally when we're buying a diamond, it's graded from flawless, so internally flawless, all the way to I3. And pepper diamonds are going to be kind of at the very bottom of that stack. And so technically they would be on paper a very poor quality of diamond. But when we're going to be buying these diamonds, that's not what we're looking for. We're really looking for the actual aesthetic and the feeling that the gemstone gives to us. This is a style that we've been seeing over, I'd say, like the last 5 to 10 years that really came back. It's a very alternative style of engagement ring. We don't really see these gemstones in high jewelry. They're more kind of like in the mid-tier price range, because one of the reasons is they are actually very affordable, which we will touch on in a second, but they just have a lot more personality. Every single gemstone is going to be unique. It's not like a diamond that you're buying and it's completely colorless. These pepper diamonds, you basically are going to choose a stone that has the kind of like pattern that you like, the imperfections that you like. It's really going to be tailored specifically to your aesthetic, which I think is really cool. All right, so let's jump into the pros, and then next we're going to fall into the cons. One of the pros is that they are significantly less than the natural colorless diamond. You're going to be hitting price points, as high as 60% less than the standard diamond. And so if you're looking for an engagement ring with a smaller budget, this is a really good option for you, because you're not going to hit those like 1 carat diamonds for 10K. Your 1 carat diamond can easily be like $500 to $1,500. So it's a very big difference. In terms of the aesthetic, as I mentioned earlier, it has so much more personality. No diamond is going to be the same. When you're buying a colorless stone, me personally, and this is only my opinion, so I'd love to know what you guys think, but I find colorless diamonds a little bit boring. Like, I don't know. I've seen it too many times. There's no personality. There's no charm to it. It's just sparkly, essentially. But these diamonds have personality. These diamonds have like characteristics, and even though they are viewed as flaws, I feel like they just are aesthetically very pleasing. Some people will also debate that they are more ethically friendly. The theory behind it basically comes down to the fact that to mine a diamond that is perfect, so like an internally flawless diamond, so no inclusions, perfectly colorless, like the ideal diamond, to be able to mine that quality, you have to go, that's going to be like, let's say 1 out of every 1,000 diamonds. You have to mine significantly more to end up with that one, versus these are very poor quality diamonds technically, and they're in like overabundance. To find this quality is a lot easier, and so you need to do a lot less mining. So that's kind of like the theory behind it. I don't know if it's necessarily more ethical or not, but whatever. Lastly, they are often cut as rose cuts. So a rose cut is basically a style of cut. What I mean by facets are the actual windows on the stone. So there tends to be a lot less, and they tend to be a lot bigger. And so this is a very good way of seeing the actual impurities in the stone, seeing the actual patterns. So if you take a brilliant cut, for example, it's going to be cut on a point, versus these ones are going to be cut flat. And so since most of them are cut as rose cut, you're going to get more surface area for the same carat weight as a diamond that would be smaller because it's deeper. On the flip side, let's talk about the cons. So the cons of buying pepper diamonds is, like I just mentioned earlier, the majority of them are found as rose cuts. So if you're looking for more, modern type of cut, like let's say the brilliant cut, they're harder to find for one, and two, they're not going to be optimized for the style of stone. The whole reason why they're always cut as rose cuts is really because the windows are so big that it allows you to really see the impurities. But as a brilliant cut, they get really muddied. It's really hard to see the pattern within the stone because there are so many facets. And this is important because a rose cut will not have the same amount of brilliance that a brilliant cut will. So you're never going to have a stone that has that really flashy sparkle. So that can be a downside. Another thing is that they tend to also be more opaque, and they tend to have kind of like base colors, if you will. We're going to touch on that in a little bit, so definitely stay for that. But they have kind of like these base colors, and so it creates an effect that they're more opaque than the standard colorless diamonds, which means that less light goes through, so less light refracts, which means that ultimately it's just a less sparkly stone. So if you want that popping effect that the traditional diamond gives, it's gonna fall short. Lastly, they are more fragile. So people know diamonds as like being a very hard material. They are a 10 on 10 in terms of durability. However, diamonds are known to crack when in direct contact with like a pressure. Like if you scratch a diamond, nothing's gonna happen. But if you were to take like a diamond and hit it right along the girdle, it could crack in two. And this is relevant because basically a pepper diamond is full of inclusions, which means that structurally it's a lot easier to crack it, because a lot of the times what makes these kinds of patterns within the stones can also be tiny little fractures. And so if you have fractures that are big enough, it can seriously impact the durability of your stone. For a ring you're wearing every single day, it needs to be durable. Now that we did the pros and the cons, we're gonna kind of go more into like the aesthetics of the stones that you can have. Though peppered diamonds is kind of like a generic term, there are different styles of peppered diamonds. For example, one of the things that you can do is there are different base colors. So the impurities will generally always be, you know, black and white speckles, but the base itself can have different shades. So you can have gray, you can have ice, you can have champagne, you can have black as a base color for your stone. So these kind of give very different aesthetics, and the colors are going to be influenced by basically kind of like different minerals within the stone. For example, champagne diamonds, which are like a love of mine, are going to be caused by nitrogen impurities within the stone, which are going to give that color. It's the same with any type of gemstone. Any little mineral impurities will affect the color. Having different base colors can affect the price a little bit. A beautiful pattern is probably going to cost more than just like speckles all over randomly or too many and creating a very opaque stone. I'd love to know down below which ones you guys like, because yeah, it just has so much personality. Lastly, we're going to touch on the cuts, because rose cuts, you can have so many different styles. You can have round, you can have oval, you can have kite shape, you can have coffin shape. You can very easily request custom shapes as well. And these styles of cuts really give a unique look. I personally don't find that they look great in a modern setting, in the very kind of like classic setting, but in these kinds of like vintage, new vintage aesthetics, they look so cool. And you know, it really creates a different type of statement piece. A lot of times we do see them in engagement rings, but you can as well obviously have them as fashion jewelry. Alright guys, thanks for watching. My name is Dominic Flux. If you guys have any more questions, comments, obviously leave them down below. We always try our best to answer them. We just launched a new TikTok, so obviously join us on TikTok because we have a lot of fun short form content. And yeah, my name is Dominic Flux. If you have any inquiries, send me a DM and I'll see you next time.